knows what to do. Just a pat on the back. That 30-second card right out there over Jeremy's shoulder has only been up about 10 seconds now. This is the rivalry from last week. Jeremy's venting all that anger into speed out there on the racetrack. Lusk is saying, hey, if I have the opportunity to do it again, I will. It's just the way it goes. I want to win. Sign is sideways now.
Let's see who can get the whole shot. And the big jump here from the Silverdome as we are underway. Jeremy McGrath, good positioning, goes wide. It's Jeremy McGrath with the whole shot. Kevin Windham and Ezra Lusk. John Dowd all in good position. Larry Ward also behind Dowdy as Dowdy almost goes off the track and Ward takes over third. But right behind him is Kevin Windham. Windham along with Doug Henry.
Here we go. Couldn't have set this up much better. Jeremy and Lusk. I have a feeling that battle from last week isn't entirely over. They're not going to go out and try and start anything, but Lusk wants to beat him. And to get around him, he's going to have to get aggressive. Jeremy's going to be looking for that.
Number 3 is hungry for victory. Even though he's done well in the point standings, his 2 victories this year were way back in January.
You look at the numbers right now of the first, second, and third. Number 2, number 3, then number 4. Running the first 3 positions. Henry on that 4-stroke. You take a look at the back markers working their way around. Henry's right there in contact.
Jeremy McGrath, his 8th hole shot. I should say his 4th hole shot of the year.
What Lusk has to do right here is stay in contact. If he lets Jeremy get a little bit of a lead, Jeremy will start getting confident. It's a long race, though. Lusk is fit. Lusk will right here try to stay in contact, keep the pressure on, make Jeremy think about him a little bit, and hopefully take it to the end. Jeremy, I don't know if he's as fit as Lusk. I think Lusk trained a little bit harder, but really what it comes down to is who wants it the most. Jeremy, I don't know if he wants it as bad as Lusk, because he's had it so much.
Jeremy McGrath, number 2 in the lead. It's not good to make me mad, he says. And he's taken that anger, though, about the situation last week and funneled it into motivation.
Right now, Jeremy is trying to go hard. Pichon up in there, keeping the pressure on Henry, trying to stay in contact. Craig right behind him, Windham behind him. So for Windham to go back-to-back, it's going to be tough. He's got so many guys between himself and the leader. A lot of action going on in the back. Just on the other side of this straightaway, Dowd going down, Waugh getting tangled going down.
Henry in 4th. As the top 4 now are pretty well spaced out. Jeremy McGrath with a 2.5-second lead on Ezra Lusk. About the same interval with Larry Ward in 3rd and Henry in 4th. Pichon has moved into 5th, David.
I think what's happening, Art, is you take a look at Windham. Out front, Jeremy's gone down.
Jeremy is down right before that finish line jump, and Ezra Lusk comes across, and Jeremy gets clipped by Larry Ward as he tries to get up.
Well, Jeremy was a little groggy. He kind of lost his senses. He hit his face hard. Doesn't even really know where he is right now. His handlebars are broken completely off the motorcycle.
Oh. Could this be a DNF?
Absolutely. There's no way he's going anywhere with that.
Oh, this championship is still alive, ladies and gentlemen.
He had his bell rung, and that was a complete accident that Larry Ward came through there and hit him. He tried to go on the high side. He'll probably get another look, and Jeremy actually stood up right at the same time. Randy's definitely concerned. He has a tough time seeing from his vantage point.
So McGrath, who came into this race with a 52-point lead on Kevin Windham, a 68-point lead on Ezra Lusk, takes the helmet off and dejectedly walks back toward the pits.
Well, for the 2nd year in a row, it's looking like he's giving a gift to Ezra Lusk. Here it is again. Jeremy just tried to jump over that double jump into the corner. The back end caught it, and really was a weird way that it pitched him. But he hit his face right into the face of that berm. He just looked like he didn't really know where he was.
Last year, it was on lap 18 that Jeremy went down. Davey Combs, hesitant to jump right in right now, is Jeremy McGrath. Let's go down to Davey.
All right, thanks. Jeremy, what in the world just happened? Well, I was riding good out there. I felt really good and kind of went over that jump a little. Came up short, just a hair, and it kind of pitched me over. When I landed, my handlebars were off. They like hit the ground so hard that they broke. So not the handlebar itself, Renthal's did not break, but the clamp underneath or something, I don't know, the handlebars were not on my bike.
And there you see Larry Ward accidentally clipping McGrath, who's disoriented at this point.
Yeah, he's having a tough time trying to keep his balance, and I'm glad to see that he's up and okay, because he took a hard crash.
Ezra Lusk is our leader. More action coming up from the Silverdome in just a moment. Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan. Ezra Lusk of Team Honda, looking for his third win on the season, is our leader. But not far behind is Larry Ward, Doug Henry, Pichon, and Wyndham. I'd like to see Wyndham make a move and makes things interesting, David.
Yep. Wyndham is actually coming on strong right now. Larry working his way down the peristyle, and you can see Wyndham coming up the other side, so he's not that far out of it. And position-wise, yeah, he's in fourth, but these guys are tightening up. Wyndham's got a couple of lines out there where he can really tighten the screws.
60,189 fans here at the Silverdome. Now seeing Ezra Lusk out in front.
You know what I think was interesting as this battle gets tougher between Pichon and Kevin Wyndham. Wyndham won this battle last week as Jeremy was out front going hard. He was trying to get away, and Lusk wasn't letting him get away. He was keeping the pressure on. That's what he did here last year, and Jeremy made a mistake then too. So I don't know that he was pushing the mistake, but he definitely was forced to ride as hard as he could go, and every once in a while, something like that comes up and bites you.
Lusk has had a good time of it here in Pontiac. We've mentioned, of course, one of his 2 wins last year on a Yamaha.
Pichon almost jumping onto the hay bale there.
Lusk also with a third back in '96. He was coming off a bad case of food poisoning and everything else. Crashed to 13, came back to take third. So Ezra likes the Silverdome as we take a look at Mikel Pichon.
Now I was talking about Wyndham being in fourth. He's actually in fifth. Lusk is so far ahead right now. I was just looking at Ward through Wyndham, and that battle is really tightening up. These guys are getting closer to Ward.
Ward stumbling in the whoops. There goes Henry making the pass, but Ward gets up right away. Henry taking advantage of the angle on the block pass into the triple.
Henry riding good on that 4-stroke in this stadium. I don't know what it is out there, if he's just having a good night. I mean, he's been riding well all year. He just hasn't had the best starts and had everything come together every night, but it's coming together for him here. Wyndham still right there. Long ways to go. Not even at the halfway point yet.
So it's Lusk, Henry, and Ward, Pichon, Wyndham, and Michael Craig coming into the picture after that. Right now we have the 2-team Suzukis in order. Ward and Pichon. That's Wyndham right behind him.
Well, Wyndham right now knows by now that McGrath is out of the race. And points. Get into second. And try to take Jeremy down to the last race if you can.
What a turn of events this has been with a DNF for Jeremy McGrath. If Jeremy would have held on to that lead and won tonight's race, all he would have needed was a 3rd place in Charlotte to capture the 250 crown, his 5th title of his career.
That's providing that Kevin Wyndham would have finished up front. Right now, with Lusk way out in front, there's no way he's winning this race unless something happens to Ezra. But second is definitely within his grasp.
Larry Ward and Pichon trying to hold off.
And we'll find out amongst all these riders who's the fittest, who can go the distance, because I can tell you they're not real tired yet, but getting tired will definitely enter the picture here in about another 4 or 5 laps.
Larry Ward not ending the season well, really, was unusually not unhappy during Friday's practice. And they've obviously done a great deal of work on that bike to satisfy him, to put him into 3rd place. Pichon in 4th, Wyndham in 5th.
I was talking to Roger a little bit about Pichon's performance last week in St. Louis. He looked so good, and Roger said, well, you can see that he was pulling away. We have definitely made leaps and bounds with the bike. We feel like it's there. And they said they made even some more improvement for this week. So
As we heard earlier, yeah, the talking by DeCoster might have helped, because Pichon came into this evening very disappointed in his performance last week and vowed to better it.
Well, he already has, just by staying up there this long. Last week it didn't take very long before he started to get a little bit tired and stayed in a little bit, and then he made a big mistake. Lusk ran into the back of him.
Wyndham to the inside, picks up a spot.
Well, he snuck in there. Caught Pichon completely off guard.
Wyndham using National Outdoor handguards out there. It must be a little rocky, maybe?
It is. And you can see in the sections where the main line is really developed in between the inside and the outside berm. A lot of rocks all piled up. That hurts. They're about golf ball size.
Kevin Wyndham, second here last year. Excuse me, David.
That's all right. I was just going to say it's also really tough in some of the corners. You got to turn on those rocks. It's just like throwing a bunch of rocks out on a street.
Makes it slick.
Trying to get traction. It's just impossible.
Yeah, you ever tried to ride a motorcycle on pebbles? It's brutal.
I have.
I ended up off the road one day. Kevin Wyndham, that was his first 250 podium last year, and the second place. Of course, that came before the win at Charlotte. Lots of traffic.
You can watch that line. This is where he got Pichon on the last lap. He can do the same thing to Ward.
Amongst the lappers right now, number 8, Kevin Wyndham, number 4, Larry Ward.
Pichon still hanging on, too. Look at that. Using the lappers a little bit to his advantage, Art.
Great move by Kevin Wyndham as the lappers actually came together.
This is patience right here.
A 102 lap time.
Yeah, they're definitely still running a good pace. A lot of patience by Kevin. He's been on that battle for a long time at the tail end. Just took his time, worked his way up through there. That's what I like about Kevin all this year. He's been so smart. In the beginning, I know he wasn't real pleased with those 6th and 7ths, but he's worked his way up the ladder slow. And when you do it like that, once you get where you're going, you stay there. He's learned all those lessons leading up to it.
Lusk, Henry, Wyndham, Ward, and Pichon our order. Let's take a look at the interval now on the Honda stopwatch.
Lusk just going by. You can see Henry going to that outside, jumping through those doubles.
10-7.
Wyndham's jumping those doubles from the inside, about 13 seconds back on Lusk.
And a 14-5. Kevin Wyndham is in back of the leader, Ezra Lusk.
Craig having a good ride. Button coming through just after him.
Ezra Lusk out in front there and is riding with nice timing, David.
Just no mistakes so far that I could see. Kept the pressure on. I really believe that this would have been a super battle between he and McGrath. I mean, Jeremy came here to race. He was going all out and trying to pull away, discourage Ezra. And Ezra, he didn't let him get away. I think he had the speed to challenge him, and I know he's in shape because taking him all the way to the 20th lap. Get a lap time on him. 104, so that's interesting. A little bit slower than Kevin Wyndham. Wyndham running about 102 right now. But he doesn't have to go that pace. Got a huge lead as long as he monitors that gap back to what should be Doug Henry for a little while. He'll be content to run those lap times.
4 podiums in his last 5 races, but he's anxious to win since January. Davey Coombs.
You guys have got to be stoked to see what happened to Jeremy, because it looks like Ezra's put together his best race so far.
Yeah, but I hate to see anything like that happen to Jeremy. I'd rather just go out and race him on the track than try to beat him there. And, you know, it's just a bad deal for him. I feel bad for him.
Does it make it feel better what happened earlier between Button and the whole Chaparral team, or is that just long gone?
No, I think that's long gone. I think I just got Ezra fired up a little bit, you know. He said he kind of enjoyed it, so. Looks like he's having fun now, though.
Well, I can tell you this, that mustache that Gosler's wearing, that just may not be there very much longer if he can stay out front.
That's right, Davey. Down on the floor of the stadium, if he wins this race, Ezra Lusk, the bet is that Gosler has that mustache shaved off. As we take a look here at the battle for second place, Kevin Wyndham against the 4-stroke of Doug Henry. The Team Yamaha mates are battling it out together. Let's see if the 2-stroke can beat the 4-stroke. Number 18 is Ron Cotta. He's a lapper in back of them.
Well, if you look at the way Wyndham caught Doug, you have to say that two-stroke's going to get around him. I don't know if it has any difference with the motorcycles or not, or the fact that Kevin is just on a roll lately, riding with so much confidence after that win in New Orleans, another win, passing Jeremy in the process. That was the real nail in the coffin for everybody else out there in the racetrack, as Kevin is here.
Kevin Wyndham looking for his 7th podium of the season. As we take a look at the Suzuki leaderboard. Doug Henry, number 19. Yamaha's worked very hard on that 4-stroke, and he's put it in the top 5. In fact, the last 4 races, Henry has finished in 5th position. Keith McCarty saying you can't always take giant steps with new projects.
Right. You know, I agree. You can't, you know, you look at the results of Kevin so far this year, too, and he's just worked his way slowly. He's taking small steps.
Henry, during practice on Friday, was just simply concentrating on starts. Every chance he could take, he would stop and practice a start with his mechanic dropping his hand to anticipate that move, and he came with a 5th place start. Let's go down to Davey and Allie.
All right, Allie, it looked like a slow start for you guys, but Kevin's on fire right now.
Yeah, he was pretty far back on the start, and he said the track's really hard to pass on. So he's just trying to get around Doug right now. We'll see what happens. We've got about 4 laps left.
Did you let him know that McGrath's out?
No, I didn't, but I'm sure you can see where Yogi is, and maybe if we can get around Doug right now, we have a chance of catching up with Yogi. I don't know.
Inside move, Wyndham moves into 2nd place.
Saw that coming. As soon as Henry went wide, I was like, well, that door's open now. Kevin's got that section dialed in. That's where he's made most of his passes.
Boy, the 4-stroke having a tough time on that corner hooking up where the 2-stroke took off.
That's just the difference in lines, I think, too, Art. Sometimes Doug gets through there and gets great traction, because usually where it's real slick, that thing hooks up. That's a slick corner, but depends on how you get into that berm.
Ezra Lusk is still our leader, with Kevin Wyndham, number 8, moving into 2nd place. If he can hold this 2nd place finish, he will have had a win, a second, a win, and a 2nd in his last 4 races. That's amazing.
Very consistent, very mature. You know, it's amazing that McGrath is such a huge figure in this sport. As soon as he went down, this stadium started to empty out. There's a lot of empty seats now.
Ezra Lusk, our leader.
Just riding perfect. I know that just like Gosler, I mean, Ezra's got to be disappointed too. I know he wanted to race with Jeremy, and I'm sure that was going to be a clean race. You know, everything would be magnified, whatever happened if they got close, but still, I don't think they had any intentions of carrying that last week any farther. Just keep it clean and make it, see who's the best guy. And tonight, it's not really who was the best, it's the guy that didn't make the mistake, and that's Ezra.
Here's Larry Ward. He's in 4th. He's right behind Henry.
He's still got a chance too, and he's charging.
What's it like if you go down? You know you got to pick up and get back in the race, and then you look down and see that your bike will not handle it. So disheartening.
Yeah, I don't think he was ready to just jump back out there and keep going anyway. I mean, he looked really disoriented. So just a horrible night for him. Ward is really gaining ground now in Henry.
Ward, after 2 9th place finishes, a 6th place and a 14th. That's what he's had since the win at Tampa.
You see Henry looking over as he entered that corner, looking over to see Henry coming out. LaRocco, once again, putting on a charge. Craig was up there in the beginning. LaRocco came from way back.
Craig in 6th place.
I think LaRocco should lobby for a 30-lap main. If there were 30-lap mains, LaRocco would be on the podium every week. He just keeps coming.
Craig's been getting fairly decent starts in the last few races, coming off a 6th place finish and an injured hand. Really showed us anyway that he was tough and he was gutsy, because he ran a race with a very, very sore hand.
Well, he's always proven that. LaRocco going on there and giving him a little bump. Actually lost some time. He should be able to gain it back.
Mike LaRocco, coming off the best ride since Indy in February of 1997. And that was the 3rd at St. Louis. The white flag is out. And Ezra Lusk is less than a lap away from his 3rd victory of the season.
You know, watching LaRocco through here, the guy's not like really beautiful to watch, but one thing he does is maintain his momentum. That's beautiful. A little bit like Carmichael in the 125. These guys ride together. They know some of the same tricks. Lusk has got to be smiling. He's got to be so happy. I guess to get rid of that mustache. Another one of those, I guess they call it a can-can. He can. No, that's pretty tough to do.
Yep.
Get back on that bike. I can see getting your feet off, but getting back through there, that's a little scary.
Kevin Windham still in 2nd place, not being challenged.
What a ride for Kevin. He was just buried in the pack.
And the battle for 3rd is still raging on. Larry Ward coming up to the rear rubber of Henry here in the final lap. Getting ready for the checkers. Ezra Lusk, his 3rd win of the year. 19-4 for 3rd place. Who's going to win? 19, Doug Henry will take 3rd. Larry Ward, a very fine ride in 4th. So we'll give an official rundown as to the finish when we get back. But this young man has come back to win his 3rd race of the year. He still has an outside chance to move by Windham with a little help from other people, if the circumstance can prevail in the last 3 races of the season. But Ezra Lusk has shown what he's made of here today. We'll be right back in a moment.